afternoon. So we are here today with Fiona from EEC and Elaine from Glasgow Care Foundation, and I'm Heather from One for Growth. So we're going to be talking today about the importance of ambassadors for Glasgow Care Foundation, about networking and collaborations, and basically about people in general and how you can help as an individual or a company with being an ambassador rather than just necessarily fundraising money. So Elaine, obviously everyone knows you as the face of Glasgow Care Foundation, and you are out there networking and telling people about the charity. So can you give everybody who doesn't know a little bit of information about Glasgow Care Foundation?
Absolutely, no problem. Thanks both of you actually for joining me today. It's lovely to see you both again. Well, Glasgow Care Foundation's been around in Glasgow since 1874. We're a Glasgow-based charity, obviously, and we help families living in poverty, some with children, some without children, some single people, a variety of different folk we help. Our referrals come from social work, health visitors, Citizens Advice Bureau, basically organisations working in the community with families who need some help. And that's normally in the form of household items. So maybe their fridge is broken down, or their cooker's not working, or their washing machine's broken, and you can imagine, you know, a man or a lady with a family of children and getting them to school with clean clothes every day. If your washing machine's not working, isn't a good situation to be in. And equally, you know, if your cooker breaks and you have a family to feed, it's a difficult situation. Microwave meals are not cheap and not very nutritious either for families. So we also help with flooring. A lot of people find they don't have carpets in their house when they move in, and the Scottish Welfare Fund will fund some things but not everything, so we try and pick up where they've left off and maybe fill some of the gaps. And also food vouchers are a high priority for us at the moment. Through the pandemic, people have not been able to eat, which sadly is in this day and age really quite ridiculous, but it's reality. So we give out Asda and Tesco supermarket vouchers so families can go and buy some food, make dinners that they like. And also, I think it gives people that a wee bit more dignity of choice, that they can go in and buy what their own tastes are, if you like. So we do, that's a kind of very quick snapshot, but gives you an idea of the sort of work that we do. Very essential, but sadly, sorry, there's a need for it still, you know, after all this time.
Yeah, so obviously, like I said, it's essential, and poverty in Glasgow is still a major issue. And if you've been a local charity, and a small charity but doing great work, obviously you've got the motto that you're a helping hand rather than a handout. And I think that's where it's really important, where we've got the likes of Fiona here, who is an ambassador. So Fiona, can you tell us a bit more about why you're an ambassador and what you see as your role as an ambassador?
Yeah, I met Elaine, God, about 5 years ago through my networking event at EEC Collective, and it was, Elaine came along and she was introducing us to what Glasgow Care Foundation does, and the fact that it is a local charity that is helping our local business, our local families in the area, that really, it kind of sold it to me, because I thought, I know anything that we're doing for them, we know where it's going to, and I am a big advocate of helping my local community, definitely on that side of things. And I am in the East End Connections, it used to be called. I am in the East End, and I know that the Glasgow Care Foundation did a lot of work with Giza Break and different charities within the East End side of things. So she got me hooked straight away. And I think the first thing that we did as an ambassador was, it was coming up for Christmas time, and one of the things they were looking for was toys, because you get wrapped up in your own little world and, you know, and the excitement of what's going to be at Christmas time, but you do forget about the people who are struggling out there. And one of the things which seems so simple and easy for all of us to do in the network was bring along a toy that gave you an idea of age ranges and genders, that kind of thing. So, you know, people would bring different things along. And it created a real buzz, because when you saw all the toys all piled up on the table that everyone had brought along, and poor Elaine and the staff had to sit and wrap all them up. I mean, and that's probably where support could probably come, is you maybe don't have the money, but you maybe can donate a little bit of time to help the foundation. And I think times like that, because I know when I went round with the toys, I mean, Elaine was up to her ears in toys and wrapping paper and God knows what else it was there. And I think that, and then you bring along the stories, you would have an event and you brought along a lot of the stakeholders and actual people who had been helped, and you heard firsthand the stories of how they've been helped, and that really cements it for you, because you know what you're doing, that however little you're doing, what it's actually doing to help another family in there. And anyone can be an ambassador for charities, you know. Be great if you're ambassadors for Glasgow Care Foundation, but even if it's anything there, I mean, you can all do a little bit there. And for me, I get great satisfaction of spreading the word out there and see how, you know, how we can help in different ways. And of late, it has been, as you'd said before, it's been the vouchers, because the food has been an issue. And I think obviously with COVID last year, we couldn't really do the toys because it was quite difficult because of the hygiene and things like that on there. So one of the things they looked at doing was to giving gift vouchers. And that was fantastic, because the families could be given the gift voucher and they could buy toys with the gift voucher. So that was actually, I thought that was a fantastic idea on there. And yeah, it gives you some self, I don't know, well-being. You think, oh, this is great, I'm helping someone. You've got that satisfaction on that side of things.
Definitely, 100%. So
the vouchers make it tangible as well, that people can physically hand something over, which a lot of people like, you know, and then it's back to that choice. You know, we were giving bags of toys to families, and we were doing a very good thing, and people were very grateful for it. But the toy that their child may have asked for might not have been particularly in that bag of toys we gave them. So I think that's where the difference this year in particular we found the vouchers make, because the parent then can go and pick the toy that the child has asked for from Santa, which makes a big difference. You know, or if there's wee things that they're missing, like socks and jammies and books and pencils, and, you know, always helps with things like that. Or even Christmas dinner. A lot of people have said, we can't afford to buy a turkey, we can't afford to buy a bit of roast beef. So the voucher enabled them then to go and get that, but maybe pick up some other nice things as well, that for one day they could eat a wee bit better, you know, and celebrate a bit better, I suppose, bring a smile to the kids' faces, I suppose, in Christmas, which is always a good thing to do.
And so I think all the families really, because I think it's not, you know, I think if a child's happy, then a parent's happy, you know, and it is that, and I think, and it is that thing that we take advantage of. We assume, yeah, we're going to put food on the table and we're going to find that, but you know, Elaine, you really brought forward the fact of not everyone has, you know, food in their cupboard that they can actually put on the table, and that for me was a huge factor in thinking, yeah, this is what we could do to help.
Because we often have people who maybe ask for a cooker or a fridge, but actually if you were to open their cupboards, there might not be any food in the cupboard to cook on the cooker, or items in the fridge to make a meal, you know. So that's where, again, there's a good new cooker, there's a new fridge, but additionally there's a voucher, go and stock up, get some food to do you till, you know, you next get paid. A lot of the families we work with as well are not necessarily out of work, you know, they're just in low paid jobs, and whether one parent's working, so it's just having difficulty making ends meet, really. They say the figures at the moment are 37,000 children in Glasgow living in poverty, which is, you know,
bad,
mind-boggling really when you think that amount of children, you know. And to go back to one of the other points, Fiona, I think what we are is very open, transparent. You know, we always say to people, if they want to know where their money's went, we can tell them. Not that Mrs. Jones got a cooker, but that, you know, a family in a particular area got a cooker, or the situation with that family was, you know, we can give a broad overview of where their money went and how it helped. And I think, again, the feedback from that has been that that's been welcomed, because often people feel they do a good deed, they donate to a charity, but they actually don't know where their money went at the end of the day, what was spent. So I think it's quite nice to be in a position that we can give feedback, you know, to people, because I think it's appreciated. That's what they've said anyway to us.
100%. I think as well, the word that sticks out from me is, like you said, Elaine, that it gives them some dignity as well. And like you say, these people, a lot of them are out there working. It's not necessarily through any fault of their own that they need help. And in a world just now where it's such a materialistic world, you know, and we're all guilty of it. And it's very easy to forget that like some people just can't afford the basics. And yeah, it's actually, I never thought I remember the, collecting toys and handing in toys, and you think you're doing a really good job, which you are, but actually there is a benefit to the vouchers, be it food or vouchers for, toys, because it's true, there is still that little bit of, they appreciate the gift of a toy, but it is obvious if a kid's asked for something and they're getting something else. So I guess with the pandemic, having to change that is almost giving that extra bit of dignity that people can go and choose what they want as a family, and make it feel more special.
Yeah.
So
it takes
going
a
back,
lot sometimes for people to ask. Sorry, Heather. It sometimes takes a lot for people to actually ask for help as well. So I think that's something that we always are aware of and we keep in mind, and that people manage and they struggle on until they they can't do it any longer. But it does take a lot for people to say, actually, I could do with a bit of help. And I think through the certainly the last year that's been more obvious as well, because people have had more difficulties, homeschooling, kids are not at school, they're not getting school meals, just even that simple thing that probably most of us don't think about, but then the family they're having to think about it, if their budget is a bit tight.
Yeah, definitely. I can certainly say, having a kid, the volume of food that I went through in lockdown was astonishing. How much they can eat. So I want to go back to the whole discussion on ambassadors, because again, it ties into the pandemic and things being really come to the forefront as well, and more people needing help, and not everybody's got the money to donate just now. But with a small charity, the getting the word out there and spreading the word is just as important. And this is obviously where we come back to the ambassadors and friends of Glasgow Care Foundation. So Elaine, for you, why is the role of an ambassador so important, or as important just now as the role of a fundraiser, say?
Well, it's very important because raising awareness of our work is key as well, because we're a very small charity. We only have 4 part-time staff, of which I'm one. We're run by a board of directors who are all volunteers, give their time freely to support us. But because we're not a big national charity that people know our name, raising awareness is half the battle. People can't support us if they don't know we exist. So, so being an ambassador, being a friend of the foundation, telling people who we are, what we do, even just simple things like our Facebook page, follow us on our LinkedIn page, look at our Instagram, look at our Twitter, share our stories, comment on things. All that just raises awareness. And the money raised for people who do fundraising doesn't have to be major. If somebody raises £50, that buys a family a microwave. If they raise 200, 250, that gets them a cooker. £100 buys a child a bed. They're not sleeping on the sofa then because the bed's broken, or they're not sleeping in with mum and dad because they can't afford to buy the child a bed because they've maybe grown out the cot. So it doesn't need to be, obviously the more money we bring in, the more people we can help. That's a no-brainer, very simple. It's as simple as that. But if people are even doing small fundraising things within their community, every little helps. So small amounts of money still make a big difference to a family. If we give a family a voucher for £100, that will do them for food or essentials. It could be they need bedding, for example, so they can go to Asda and buy some bedding. They might need a few kitchen bits and pieces, smaller items. They can go and get that. It's a bit cliche, but it does make such a difference to the people we help, every penny that comes in.
Yeah, it does. So Fiona, they say, depends what stats you read, that people need to hear or see something at least 12 times for it to stick in their head, and for that to be the thing they go to. So like Elaine says, obviously, if you look at social media, if you share a social media post, the more you see it, that's another time it's in your head. So as an ambassador, obviously telling people and continuously telling people and promoting the charity, tell us about some of the things that you've done to help promote, and some of the things that you've found that's worked to promote Glasgow Care Foundation.
Well, we've had, through the networking, we've had, like Christmas time, we had a fundraising. I did a a quiz. It was almost like a pub quiz and it was mostly businesses, small businesses, but invited friends along as well. And it was good fun. And I said to everyone, donate £5 to come to the event, and that money was going to the Glasgow Care Foundation. And then we also did a raffle, and we had lots of prizes. So people are quite happy to donate a product or a service to that. And then you could build in the raffle on that side. So it's maybe not costing somebody, then maybe cost them a little bit of time to provide a service. And then somebody's really happy to win that, but the money then goes towards giving there. And I think, what was it we raised? It was over £1,000.
Fiona, it was fantastic.
Yeah, it was a brilliant event. I was on that, and it was so good. It was good fun.
I know, because everyone's going, do another one, do another one. I was like, yeah, I know, I need to do another one. But it was just a little bit of lightheartedness, the end of the year. And so it was nothing big, you just put together. I managed to grab a pub quiz from my niece. She's like, oh, here's one I prepared earlier. Oh, great. I didn't have to put any effort into, no effort went into that. But, it's just providing little things like that. And we've done other raffles in the previous years as well with the networking. And I think from that, because you've got a collective of people together, and if you're doing it as an event, it's great because you're building up momentum. People are wanting to get involved in that side of things. And you're just, and then the stories that come at the back of that, because from the event, you've given money to the charity and you're doing fantastic work with that money to give to people, but then you're sharing those stories. So those stories can be shared on afterwards. And it's just like, it's just like a cycle going round on there. I think doing an event is a great way, definitely, to, create some buzz and get people involved. And as you say, you're trying to make it, you're not wanting people to donate, hundreds of pounds. You're going, a fiver, what's a fiver to anyone? And then they're wanting to win a prize, so they'll pay more money to be in the draw kind of thing. So it's just...
You just get sucked in, don't you?
It worked very well. It was great, worked very well. It was fantastic. And that's probably 4 families that will get a larger household item, £1,000 when you put it in real terms. That's 4 families helped, or maybe 10 families given £100 to go and get some stuff that they need. That way.
It's so perfect as well for small businesses and individuals to be able to help too, because with a lot of the bigger charities as well, you have that, you need a lot of money to make a difference. Whereas it's lovely as a small charity to be able, or a small business to be able to support a charity and actually feel you're making a difference. Because like you said, Fiona, people do, it's inbuilt, you want to help and you feel good about helping. And you can generally really help people in Glasgow really easily, even as a small business or as an individual or organisation. So Elaine, obviously, what is your ask of anyone that's watching just now or watching back? What's the biggest ask just now? Are you looking for more ambassadors, or if you've got anything coming up or any fundraising that you'd be like people to get involved in? What's the biggest ask right now for Glasgow Care Foundation?
Our ask is always probably similar to what it is all year round, really. Is our basic ask is keep us in mind, keep us at the forefront of your mind, share our story, spread the word, raise awareness, and then from that, hopefully, people will do small fundraising initiatives or events, which will then generate some money, which can either be donated through myself, I can give you bank details, or it can be done through our website, which is just glasgowcarefoundation.org, and there's a donation button, which is managed by Virgin Money Giving, so it's all very secure and everything. Our events ourselves are kind of on hold. We normally only have 2 a year, to be honest, but like everyone else, due to COVID, we're not getting anything planned at the moment, but we're hoping that'll change moving forward. I've certainly been back more on the networking front, trying to kind of just keep the flag flying, as it were. So our call to action really, I suppose, is just do what you can to support us when you can. We're not pushy with it, but we do welcome people like Fiona, who are ambassadors, and yourself, Heather, who always raise awareness, spread the word, share our story, and when they can, do fundraising, which is great. I mean, that's the kind of end goal, I suppose, is we want to help as many people as we can, but there's a journey in that process for each individual, depending on what time they have, what's within their means and what they can do for us. So we're happy to chat to anyone who wants more information or can have even any new ideas that we could take forward ourselves would be welcomed.
Perfect. So we'll put your email address in the chat on this so people can get in touch with you. And Fiona, any parting words from you as a Glasgow Care Foundation ambassador?
Yeah, I think also the fact of you helping, but I think what you do fantastically, Elaine, and obviously with the help of Heather doing the social media side of things, is you always thank. So any donations that are put on there. So if you are a business and you're donating something, you can get you're getting a little bit of free promo as such on the back of that. So it is great for that side of things. But I think also because there's something we talked about before, Elaine, and there was issues where you were struggling to get collections. So weren't you looking for people, drivers who would be able to collect and deliver?
It was near Christmas time, and that with COVID has kind of been put on hold. But yes, you're right, Fiona, there was a point in time where the delivery of the toys, etc., would have been handy to have a few more drivers. But perhaps there might be a need for that in the future, but just not at this point in time.
So I take it that can I just ask a question? Also, it's a silly question maybe. But with the goods are new goods, so they would be delivered directly then, so you don't have that issue on there.
Yes. Everything that people ask for or need or require, there's a discussion takes place with our welfare workers and the client that's needing the goods and needing the support. And once it's decided what the priority is, because obviously some people need everything, but we can't help with everything. Occasionally we have people, well, quite often actually, we have people who have been homeless and they get a new tenancy. So they're going into an unfurnished flat through a housing association. They'll get some help, but not by any manner of means everything they need. So that those sort of things though are ordered and delivered and fitted if there's a fitting requirement, all through the suppliers we use, and we vary our suppliers from time to time, so we're getting best value for money as well on that front. Yeah, but yeah, to answer your question, yes, everything's ordered new, delivered new, and given as a gift, not a grant that needs paid back or anything.
No, and I think it's a testament the fact that you've been going for over 140 years. It's it's
doing quite well.
It's working.
You're doing well, Elaine. You're doing really
well. All right for that age.
You can share your secret with us.
Oh, I don't feel it some days, I might add.
Ladies, thank you so much for coming on and doing the live, and for anyone that's watching or on catch up, we will be downloading this and adding it onto YouTube and all the other platforms. We'll make sure Elaine's details are all over it so you can get in touch, whether it's to fundraise or become an ambassador. And if you are looking to fundraise, every Friday we do have a fundraising tip on social media, so no excuse for no ideas.
Brilliant.
But thank you so much, ladies, for everyone watching.
Thanks,
ladies.